Hello and welcome back to Wingot Plays Nomifactory. At the moment, at the end of the last episode, we had built the oil rig and we were getting started on a bit of oil processing. We had also made the angel ring, which I've been using to fly around, the soul binder and the tungsten steel, which allowed us to get access, and Canthal, which allowed us to get access to a few new items. But in the meantime, I think we are going to actually be continuing on processing these various oils that we got in the previous episode. All of these oils need to be processed through a chemical reactor with hydrogen to get their non-sulfuric form. They need to be desulfurized, which gets you hydrogen sulfide and then the corresponding heavy fuel, naphtha, light fuel, and refinery gas. So that's going to be the first goal. If we just pop down a couple of quick chemical reactors here, then we'll be able to process up the output from here and then put those processed, as I say, so these sulfuric have no other use beyond being processed with hydrogen. You can burn them in a gas turbine, sure, but if you want to actually use them, this is the only thing that all of them do is get processed in a chemical reactor with hydrogen. So we may as well process all of them before they go into the system. So let's just quickly pop a couple of advanced chemical reactors here, and then we just need to pipe out from these into our chemical reactors. Perfect. So we'll insert on brown and we'll extract from all of these on brown. So that should get processing. Although, yes, okay, so we're going to have a problem because these won't always extract in amounts of 1,000. Oh, we did this light fuel, heavy fuel. So let's instead set each of these to have a particular fluid input. So if we take a look here at the sulfuric, so sulfuric light, I think this one's heavy fuel. No, light fuel. 50-50, got it wrong. This one had the heavy fuel, and then we're going to need another 2 of these so that we can get the remaining 2 products. Good. And so then that can go there and use the sulfuric gas. That didn't work, I don't think. There we go, good. And on brown. And then that one gets to, where'd that card go? That's in my inventory. Go there and get the naphtha. Insert on brown. Perfect. So now we can tell all of these to extract on brown. Not quite sure how that got light fuel, because I don't think I set it to extract. What's going on with this sulfuric gas? Sulfuric gas. Naphtha. Sulfuric gas insert. Let's change this one to sulfuric gas. Good, that's working. And then this one can be sulfuric naphtha. Good, so that should clear all of these out, which will allow that to keep processing. Okay, it's still got oil in it, but maybe it just doesn't have enough to be able to do another round of processing. Let's take a quick look. Sulfuric naphtha would need distillation tower. Yeah, you need 3,000 oil for each run. So, perfect. Now, all of these are also going to need hydrogen. Question is, how do we get hydrogen? So, hydrogen we can get from hydrocracked refinery gas, so I guess we could get it from this system itself, would be one option. We can get it from water, although I believe that's a very slow process. But for now, it's probably the simplest, unless... Let me see if there is already some hydrogen in the system. Oops. No. So it looks like our applied energetic system does not already have hydrogen in it. Although, it does. Oh, right, I didn't actually connect that. That'll do it. Let's grab an ME conduit and run it along here. Perfect. Now it should expose hydrogen. Perfect. So we want to extract also on brown, and then these just need to be updated to also accept hydrogen. Perfect. So hydrogen and sulfuric light fuel makes the outputs. Perfect. So set you to accept hydrogen and hydrogen and oops, hydrogen. Perfect. That should get all of these running. Hydrogen, sulfuric heavy. Okay, so we need 8 buckets of sulfuric heavy for that one to run. We need 12 of naphtha. And looks like that one's already run once. Okay, so what we should do is grab some more oil. So let's just grab a what's this? Lava dew of the void, rocket fuel. Okay, we'll grab one bucket here, and we will grab from our right. I don't get why this broke. It says that it doesn't have enough energy, but the power input hatch there is connected to this CEF, which is full, and it's got a EV cable there. This seemed to break previously, and now it's getting power. Is it going to run? Weird. Yeah, I don't know why that decided to break. Now, what have we got? So we've got the oil going into the fluid interface. So I don't actually need that tank, because we can don't need that to be connected. So we also want to expose oil here. Perfect. And then we want to input oil into this fluid tank here. So we're going to need another fluid filter. And it needs to be set to oil. Perfect. Now insert on brown. There you go. Filling up with oil. Got oil going into here, and that should get that processing again as well. Perfect. Now, all of these outputs, light fuel, heavy fuel, naphtha, and refinery gas, I've already put cards into our system. So for all of those, we should be able to extract them back into the system. Not the hydrogen sulfide. Okay, let me take a look at the hydrogen sulfide, and we'll see what we can actually do with that. Hydrogen sulfide can be turned into hydrogen and sulfur dust. Or sulfuric acid. You know, it actually seems useful. So what I might do is I might grab another fluids disc, and I'll set it to have hydrogen sulfide, and we'll put that into the system. And sort of worry about it later. Good. You go there. Perfect. So then we should have hydrogen sulfide coming into the system as well. Perfect. And let me just check on the hydrogen. I think it was like 800, wasn't it? 500. So it will eventually run out, but for the time being, all of this will work. So you also get to extract, and extract. Good. So at that point, we've got light fuel, heavy fuel, naphtha, and refinery gas being pulled into the system. Heavy fuel, light fuel, naphtha, and refinery gas. Perfect. So, that, actually, let's grab some buckets so that we can actually claim those quests. Perfect. And progress on, basically. Good. Heavy fuel. Put that back in. Naphtha, we'll take that. Good. Light fuel and refinery fuel. That's rubber fuel. Refinery gas. Perfect. Meanwhile, let's go get rid of these old buckets that we had. This is heavy fuel. This is naphtha. And then this is sulfuric acid. Perfect. And then we can put away this refinery gas. There we go. Good. And while we're at it, I also made some EV machine holes between episodes. And in fact, I'd already made the EV CEF. I had taught the system how to make it, I just hadn't taken one out. So at that point, we can finish that quest there, and we can finish all of these quests up here. Although, hydrogen sulfide, I just need to take out a bucket of that. That's easy as well. Good. Okay, give me a bucket. And you, hydrogen sulfide is there. Perfect. Good. Now, diesel can be used as a fuel. Primary uses for making cetane diesel, which you'll want to stockpile for later production of draconium. Okay, so we want diesel. And diesel here is made in a mixer with light fuel and heavy fuel. So that seems pretty simple. So how about we put it over here, because this is basically our fluid processing area. So we want a mixer. We want a mixer EV tier. We've got everything we need to make it perfect. And then that can go there. Good. Now it is going to also need, so it will need to input, we need a fluid filter. Good. So it wants to import, show me diesel, light fuel and heavy fuel, isn't it? Light fuel, heavy fuel, perfect. So, light fuel, there. Heavy fuel, heavy fuel, there. Good. And then this just needs to expose heavy fuel and light fuel. Good. And then that just needs to be set to brown. Perfect. So that'll fill up, that'll make diesel. I don't think there's anything else required to make diesel. Nope. We're just waiting for that to fill up. It'll fill up with light fuel completely, and then it'll start putting heavy fuel in. There we go, and start producing diesel. And of course diesel, you only need 1,000 to 5,000, so basically every time it puts a piece of heavy fuel in there, we get light fuel, we get diesel out. And we're getting a lot of diesel, because it makes 6 buckets at a time. Perfect. At which point this will then fill up with heavy fuel as well. Now, the diesel, we need to also tell the system that it's allowed to have diesel. So, fluid drive, and we've run out of those, so let's make 20 more. Go. And then we want diesel to be allowed into the system. Perfect. And we'll put it over here. There we go. Good. And so at that point we can set this as well to extract the diesel into the system. Perfect. Good. So now we've got diesel being produced. Yeah, good. I need a bucket of diesel. Yep, we've got a bucket sitting here. Diesel. Good. Claim that, and then we want nitrodiesel. For that we need tetranitromethane. So tetranitromethane, we need nitric acid, and we need ethanol. Ethanol, we need acetic acid, which can be made with oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon. Let's do that for now. That's it. As it says, it's the simplest option. We'll put this back into the system. Good. So the acetic acid can be made in a chemical reactor with hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and integrated circuit. Fine. So we'll just grab out an integrated circuit. Easy. Done. It's a chemical reactor that we need to do this. So, there we go. Chemical reactor, perfect. And while we're here, we might as well tell the system that it's allowed to have acetic acid in it. Perfect, good. Boom, good. And then we just go over here, drop the chemical reactor, and then we just need to extract the items that need to go into it. So for step one, we're actually going to need an interface, which let's make 20 of these. Cool. We can leave that to work in the background. Now, what's this? Fluid conduit. Perfect. Now, we need another fluid filter. Might as well just grab a whole stack of that for now. Interface can go there. Good. So we need a fluid filter, and we need to place hydrogen and oxygen into the system here. Hydrogen and oxygen. Good. Perfect. Now insert on brown. Go. It's getting hydrogen. We'll get oxygen in a minute, and then we need this. Nope. Hang on. Show me the acetic. Here it just needs a configuration 4. Okay, I can do that. Oops. Perfect, configuration 4. Hydrogen, you are not exposing oxygen, are you? There we go. It might be worth putting another fluid interface here just to accept the outputs from these machines, because that's getting very full. Also, it looks like we're completely out of light fuel, so I think there might be a thing where heavy fuel can actually be cracked. Let's see, what did you say? Diesel requires more light than heavy. You should consider steam cracking and distilling the excess heavy fuel for its useful constituents. Okay, so that's something we'll have to look into later on. The heavy fuel can be toluene, benzene, phenol, hydrocracked, cracked. There you go, steam. So cracked heavy fuel, which can then become naphtha, light fuel, toluene, benzene, butene, propene, ethylene, methane. Okay. So there's a lot of outputs that we can get from cracked heavy fuel, so we'll need to look into that. It does also mean we'll need another distillation tower and a much taller one in order to process those. But for now, we've at least got everything up and running. So now we just need that interface, which we're still waiting on. Possibly waiting on because it's told to craft 20 instead of just 1, but there also seems to be quite a few things that we're waiting on for that one. So I might actually just need to pause the recording while we wait on this interface to be built. Or alternatively, what I could just do is grab a bit of carbon dust and manually get this one started. Perfect. So that's getting us the acetic acid, and then we've already told the system that it can have acetic acid, so that should just work. Perfect. And I'm definitely going to need another fluid interface. So, okay, we've got plenty here. So how about we put another one right here. Perfect. Boom. Now this one can also insert on red. And this one might as well not insert at all. This one's just an extract. Oops. Good. So whenever these machines make anything, it should go into there. Meanwhile, let's have a look here. Well, yep, we're good. We're still full on oil. We're still distilling. Perfect. So that should all just work. Now, in the meantime, let's take a look. Interface, we're still waiting. Make the pistons. Yeah. Okay. So yes, I might just have to put a pause in here, and I will be back once the interface has been made, because, well, actually no. So we've made acetic acid. We can put the interface in place and actually automate the carbon dust going into here later. Let me just grab an item filter. I don't think we're going to need all that many of them while we're doing all this fluid stuff. So let's fiddle with this. So you, item, can insert carbon dust. Perfect. And then you can insert on brown. Perfect. And then carbon dust can be pushed into here and make acetic acid. Perfect. Now, we should, however, grab our bucket of acetic acid, which is going to be up here. Perfect. Good. So, now what does that say we can do next? So we've made acetic acid. Perfect. Now we can make ethanone. Acetic acid and sulfuric acid make ethanone, or you can heat acetone, or a few other approaches. Ethanone. So ethanone in a fluid heater in 0.8 seconds makes an equal amount of ethanone. Distillation tower, you can distill acetone. Oh, this is acetone, not acetic acid. Acetone comes from acetic acid and calcite. Do we have calcite? No, we've got calcium. Okay, so ethanone for now. Let's just do sulfuric acid and acetic acid to make ethanone and diluted sulfuric. Do we already have? We've got diluted hydrochloric only. Okay, so we're going to want 2 of these fluid discs so that we can put ethanone into one and diluted sulfuric into the other. Perfect. Okay, and in order to make the ethanone, we need a chemical reactor. Yes. So again, here's the recipe up here. Perfect. That's an item conduit, fluid conduit. Perfect. Now we want to filter for. You are made out of sulfuric and acetic. So acetic acid and sulfuric acid. Oops. Perfect. Now you get to insert in brown, and we just need to expose those. So sulfuric acid, which isn't currently in the system. Okay. And acetic acid. Yeah, perfect. So you extract on brown. Good. So we've got the acetic going in. Now we just need to set up a sulfuric acid process. Now we could distill diluted sulfuric, wood pulp, sugar. We could infinite sugar. Oh, that needs sulfuric. Glycerol. Chemical reactor, sulfur trioxide, hydrogen sulfide. Okay, so we're getting hydrogen sulfide from these other processes. So water plus hydrogen sulfide makes sulfuric acid. That seems a pretty simple option in a chemical reactor with no card. Okay. Perfect. Now, chemical reactor, you are going to want water and hydrogen sulfide. Water and hydrogen sulfide. Oops. Perfect. So both of those need to be exposed here. Yep. So hydrogen sulfide and water. Perfect. So both of those should go into here and produce our sulfuric acid. Good. Now, in the meantime, let's take a look. And that interface is still crafting. Oh my gosh. But there we go, sulfuric acid. Perfect. Now, we could dump the sulfuric acid back into the system, and that's probably the simplest option. So let's do that, because we're going to need sulfuric acid for other things later as well. Now we're getting sulfuric acid here, we're getting ethanol and diluted sulfuric acid, and then we probably should reprocess that diluted sulfuric acid, I think. We'll have to sort that out later, I think. For now, we'll just grab both of those, put them into the system. Sulfuric. I thought I gave you a card for sulfuric acid. I must have only given it one for diluted. Okay. We need another fluid card, and this one gets to have sulfuric acid. Perfect. Good, that should fix that. Perfect. So we're now making both of those. Good. So we can grab that ethanol out of the system to complete that quest, and then we could ethanol. Perfect. And then we can get working on tetranitromethane, but we need nitric acid. So the nitrogen we can actually get quite a lot of different ways, and in fact I think there's probably already nitrogen. No, there isn't. But the one way we can do it is by making a cryogenic air distillation tower. Now that seems like it's probably the most interesting way, and so I think is probably what we should work towards, to send the output of this into a vacuum freezer to turn it into liquid air. Air can be sent into a vacuum freezer to make liquid air. Liquid air can be sent into a cryogenic distillation tower to break it down into its components. Note that despite accepting EU power, modular machines will not overclock. Fine. It's also highly advised to feed the tower RF instead of EU due to modular machines having issues with disconnecting from EU cables sometimes. So is that not something we would want to do with all of our modular machines? Anyway, so let us go play around with making a cryogenic distillation tower. So cryogenic, there we go. Cryogenic air distillation. It says it's going to need a modular machine controller. Let's actually look here. Modular machine controller, 52 frost-proof machine casing. Fine. Modular machine controller. Good. Make one of those. Frost-proof. We need 52. Go. Good. Controller. Good. Frostproof are on the way. 84 solid steel machine casings as well. So we need 70 more of these. Go. We need reinforced fluid output. Although I think we can find that if we do this. Reinforced. Okay, I've not taught it how to make reinforced fluid output. Modularium HV energy input. HV energy input, perfect. A reinforced fluid input. Okay, so we need reinforced fluid input hatch. Recipe taught. Fluid input hatch. What do we got? Tiny, small, normal. Okay, so we need, we need to teach the system how to make a normal, which uses a small fluid input hatch, small fluid input hatch. Perfect. So, reinforced fluid input hatch has been taught. Reinforced fluid output hatch we also need. Okay, fluid output. All it knows how to make is tiny. Okay. So we'll go all the way down. Small is probably good. Yep, good. So you put all of these recipes away. Good. Now let's put away the spare ethanol that we've got. Good. So now we can make a reinforced fluid output. We need 5 of those, though, don't we? Yeah. 5 of those. Good. Reinforced, and we need a reinforced fluid input hatch as well. Perfect. So that should be that, and these are already crafted. Perfect. But we are very much getting to the wrapping up point of this episode, so I think we might have to finish this off in the next episode. Let's have a look. Yeah, because there's a few steps still, and we're not going to be anywhere near actually getting epoxy or epichlorohydrin in this episode. So I think that is it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Stay happy and healthy, and I hope to see you in the next one.